This is the AHSAA Weekly, your inside look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's show, we're going to talk bowling. The head coach of the Southside girls bowling team out of Etowah County, Coach Zachary Bloom, joins us. Also, we'll talk with one of the top high school basketball coaches in the state of Alabama, Daryl Barber of the Pinson Valley High School Indians. And coming up, we've got David Holzford's highlights. We're going to take you around the state of Alabama to show you some incredible basketball and wrestling highlights. We're also going to show you something was kind of dangerous but also incredible that you don't see every day in a high school basketball game in Birmingham, and also a jersey retirement at Thompson High School as well. All of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
Home making you sick? Moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions can remedy any mold or mildew problem in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
And welcome back into the AHSAA Weekly. We're talking bowling this week. The state bowling championships coming up Thursday and Friday in the Birmingham metro area at Oak Mountain Lanes. And we are very pleased to have with us as our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly, Coach Zachary Bloom. He is the head coach of the girls bowling team at Southside High School in the Etowah County area. Coach, welcome in. Glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Happy to be here. Excited to talk some bowling.
Coach, let's talk about it. Your girls team has won 4 consecutive state championships. Just tell us about this dominance from your Southside bowling team.
I've had a really special group, and it happened to come about when we first started the program. 6 years ago, when bowling first started, we had a group of girls in 7th and 8th grade who had been bowling their whole life, and luckily, we were able to come together as a team and have a lot of success. I still have about half of them. Some have graduated, but it's been a great ride.
Coach, you mentioned having these girls who had bowled all their life, and then you got them at an early age in high school, actually junior high players. I know that's been one key to the success you've had at Southside, but also tell us about maybe some other things you think have gone into having this dominant bowling team with the Southside Crimson Panthers.
We are a family, and that's something that we preach really hard. And in some of the girls' cases, they actually are family. I've had 3 girls with the last name of Klontz for the last few years, and their younger sister took the place of the one who graduated. And then it's just about having one common goal, and these girls throughout high school, bowling was what they did, and they wanted to be the absolute best at it. We've had 2 get college scholarships last year, got another one this year, and they eat, sleep, breathe, live bowling. And when you care about it as much as they do, you can have a lot of success, and we have.
Let's dive further deep and talk about specifically the Klontz sisters. What do they bring to the table in bowling? Obviously, they practice it a lot because you said this is their life, this is what they enjoy doing. What's the special skill set that maybe they bring to the table?
They all bring a different skill set. Grace Ann, who graduated last year, she was just a force. So incredibly, just naturally gifted and really smart. She knew her game, and she knew how to make adjustments in her game to be the best in the state. And she started that from the time she was in 8th grade and said that I want to be the best there is, and ended up with a whole lot of accomplishments. And her younger sisters, who are twins, Jennifer and Jessica Klontz, Jessica's she's steady, she's consistent. You know she's always going to deliver. She's not going to disappoint. Really, she rises to the occasion. She's been all-state 3 times, and I just expect big things every time she steps on the lanes. And then there's Jennifer, she's the hardest worker of all 3 of them. And she's a fighter. she is going to just drive the other team crazy with how she bowls and how she approaches her time on the lanes. And she's going to college next year to bowl for Martin Methodist, and I'm super proud to get to see her do what she's done. And then they've got a sister who's in 7th grade named Cora Lee, and she's going to end up being the best of all of them, probably. She's already ahead of where her sisters were when they were in middle school. And I mean, their parents have grown up around bowling. Their dad used to own the pro shop in town. And so it's in their blood. They got bowling balls as 1-year-old birthday presents. So it's been really exciting to get to have that family and get to coach them and watch them grow up.
Coach, every coach that we have talked with throughout this school year and every other sport has had some special challenges. Things have been different in every sport, and I'm sure bowling is no different. So let's talk about, because of the coronavirus situation, some of the things that are different about bowling this year as opposed to past years.
It has definitely been a challenging year. This year, we're not bowling on a pair of lanes like we normally do and bowl a game on 2 lanes. We're bowling on 1, and we're staying on 1. Everybody's wearing masks the whole time, which bowlers are creatures of habit. And when you change how they go about it with having to wear a mask, it's going to be different, and there's going to be an adjustment period to it. My group has been really resilient this year because back in March of last year, when the pandemic first hit, our bowling alley went out of business. So we ended up having to drive about 30 miles up to Boaz, and we're in the southern part of Etowah County, and that's in Marshall County, just to practice. Luckily, we got a new place built in Gadsden, but it didn't open until the beginning of December. And so we were basically homeless, and every game was on the road for about the first half of our season. So I tell them all the time how thankful I am that they've been flexible and adjusting to what they need to do.
Well, Coach,
but it's definitely been a challenge.
You have done a great job, obviously, over the last several years, you and your team. Congratulations on making it back to the state tournament again, overcoming all of the challenges that you just mentioned. Best of wishes to your team as you travel down to the Birmingham metro area again for the state bowling championships with the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Excited for Friday. Thank you for having me on.
Coach Zachary Bloom, Southside High School, the bowling team getting ready to try to win another state championship. We'll be back with more of the AHSAA Weekly in just a moment.
Things a little bumpy in your driveway? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. Ox Foundation Solutions will come up with the right fix for you. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
This is the AHSAA Weekly. We are back and we're talking with one of the very best high school boys basketball coaches in the entire state of Alabama, Coach Darryl Barber of the Pinson Valley High School Indians, a top program in Class 6A basketball. Coach Barber, glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
I thank you guys and the Alabama High School Athletic Association for having me. It means a lot to me, and it's my pleasure.
Coach, you've been at the very top of 6A basketball, state finals, state championships, state runners-up along the way. You also lost from last year two of the greatest players in state history, to be honest. Cam Woods is now at Troy, and Kool-Aid McKinstry now at the University of Alabama as a dual sport athlete. But you've had guys step up. You've got another great team this year. Talk about some of the guys that have stepped in and kind of filled the shoes of Woods and McKinstry.
Well, it's tough to fill those guys' shoes, man. I tell you, you lose 38 points with Cam and Mr. Do-It-All with Kool-Aid. And, going into the season, at first we thought we were going to have Kool-Aid. And, once he made that decision, it was a little tough on us at first, but we knew we had some guys coming in and we were just going to move forward. One guy that's been key for us is JoJo James. He was able to kind of start with Kool-Aid and Cam. It's hard playing with those guys. He was in their shadows a lot. But he learned a lot from those guys on how to lead the team. He learned a lot what winning looks like. And then we were fortunate to have a guy to move in from Montgomery, Greedy Williams, who's very underrated, a 6'3" do-it-all guard, and a young kid, a sophomore, who played JV last year, and Terry Connor. So the backcourt, while it looks a little different, those guys have stepped right in and filled the void. And like you said, we're playing some pretty good basketball right now, and this is the time to be doing that.
Well, you mentioned those two guys that are part of your program now, Greedy Williams and Terry Connor Jr., of course. Basketball fans, if they're old like me, they know the name Terry Connor in high school basketball annals in the state of Alabama. Talk about those two guys, what they bring to the table. Their dads, I think, part of the staff as well. Tell us about those two guys coming in and the impact they've had on your program at Pinson Valley.
Well, man, first of all, it's a blessing and it's an honor. Coach Williams uprooted his family and moved from Montgomery. And as I stated before to AL.com, this guy could have chose a plethora of schools. And for him to choose Pinson Valley and myself, that meant a lot to me. And like I said in the article, he wanted to come down and just kind of be a dad and let Greedy hear another voice. And I was just told him, there's no way you're going to come down here to Birmingham and just kind of sit in the back. So we had an opening on the staff and he joined the staff. And it's Connor, brought his kid to me last year. And he was at, I think, Hewitt Trussville. And Terry was a guy that was on JV as a freshman, little Terry. And, he grew a lot over the summer and he got a lot stronger, man. And again, I had another opening. My assistant coach, she became the girls coach, and I had another guy that kind of moved on. So the stars aligned and it worked out perfect. And those guys came on the staff and they've been a tremendous asset. But their sons, I tell you, man, two lefties, very high IQ kids, totally different from their fathers. I believe their fathers are scorers, you know what I mean? And these guys are great kids, man. They do it all. They stuff the stat sheet. And we put a lot on Greedy, coming in as a senior. His season kind of ended the way ours ended in the regional finals, in the overtime. So those guys will come right in, man. And I've demanded a lot, and they've stepped up to the challenge. But it's been a pleasure coaching those guys and just kind of talking to their dads and getting to know their backgrounds as well.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the season itself so far, because it's been different. Every sport has been different this year, and basketball is no exception. As a matter of fact, basketball and the indoor sports may have been affected more than any other sport. Tell us about the differences this year and the challenges you face with dealing with the virus and the restrictions that have been in place, especially with an indoor sport like basketball.
Yeah, it's been tough, man, and not knowing that we were going to have a season at first and coming in June, had to be creative in practice and moving forward into the season. I pride myself in my program on being able to go out to state to play other teams. We were slated to go to Memphis, Atlanta, Mississippi, just to get the schools some recognition, to get the guys to play against different talents. So from that standpoint, it kind of bothered us because I think at the time we were allowed to go out, but states weren't allowing us in. So we had to kind of revamp the schedule. And then we get ready to enter the season, and with so many schools going on quarantine and contact tracing, having to cancel games, reschedule games, it's been tough. And my thing has been these seniors, man. I just was hoping and prayed that they would at least get to have some type of season. We can get to some type of normalcy. It's been hard. We were doing fine. We were one of the very few schools that were playing games. We were playing games, and Thanksgiving, the bug kind of hit us. We had a couple parents to catch it, a couple guys to catch it, and it was just a blessing, actually, because the tournament we were supposed to go to for Thanksgiving, they canceled. So we actually had our time to kind of quarantine. Guys came back a little sluggish, but it's been different, man. But I'm just thankful that the AHSAA has allowed us to play and worked around it. And being indoor, you have to be a lot more cautious and a lot more creative, man. But I'm just thankful each and every day to wake up myself and for these guys to wake up and just to be able to play the game that they love.
Coach Barber, let's talk a little bit about the athletic program overall at Pinson Valley. Of course, you won the 6A championship in football. You've won 6A basketball championships. The culture, the standard of just winning across the board at Pinson Valley is high. And obviously, to see the two major boys sports like football and basketball to have the success you've had the last several years is amazing. What's the carryover from football to basketball like? And do you have guys that play both sports?
Yeah, most definitely. So let me say this. It starts with our principal, Michael Turner, because he gets it. Not only in athletics, the same way he treats football, he treats basketball, he treats the custodians, He treats the band. You know, he wants to be the very best at everything, and he's going to make sure you have an opportunity and have the resources that you need. So a huge credit to him, man. Moving forward, when I came in at midfield, you know, I was very successful. I was blessed over there, and I just wanted more of a challenge. And I come in, you know, at midfield, I guess I was kind of the big guy on campus, being that I had won state titles. And I come in and you got Patrick Nix and Bo Nix, and it didn't bother me. You know, with me, I challenged myself so much. So we came over, man, and we just saw the atmosphere and how the community supports, the administration supports, the teacher support. It was just a blessing. And so the football guys, the thing that helps, they come in, they're so much stronger, and they come from a winning culture on that football field. Don't get me wrong, it's a little rough. You know, we don't get them until late because every year they're competing for a state title, but they come in and they know what winning looks like. And so we've been fortunate in the past to have guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry and DeMarcus Dinsmore, who had already played for myself and knew what winning looked like. So when they came in, it wasn't a drop-off. And we got guys this year like B.J. Diakite. He's a 6'5" tight end. We actually get him back tonight. He comes off injury. So, yeah, we work perfect together. You know, Coach Shade, the former coach, Coach Nix, we have a great relationship. And it does carry over, man. And those guys totally understand and they get it.
Well, as we told folks at the very beginning of this interview, one of the very best basketball coaches in the state of Alabama, Darryl Barber. He's won state championships. He knows what it takes. And, Coach, I know you're chasing another one this year. Best wishes to you and your basketball team as you chase yet another state title at Pinson Valley.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate you guys, man. It means a lot for you all having me on. And hopefully we'll be having a conversation maybe the second week in March at Bartow Arena. You know, that's the goal.
Absolutely. Darryl Barber, head coach of the Pinson Valley Indians, our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Uneven floors got you rolling? Ox Foundation Solutions has the expertise and the know-how to repair cracks, wet basements and crawl spaces, and uneven floors in your home. It's time to get strong. How strong? Ox Strong. Get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
We continue now the AHSAA Weekly, and we're going to take you to Alabaster. Thompson High School earlier this month retiring a jersey of one of their greatest female basketball players in history. We're talking about Monique Bivens, former player at Thompson High School. She's the all-time leading scorer in Thompson history, an all-state player, played in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game, also played in the North-South All-Star Game as well. All-State her junior and senior year, went on to a great career at the University of Alabama, great All-SEC player at Alabama, and then drafted in the WNBA in 2005 and played in the WNBA as well. A great career in high school, in college, and in the pros, and Monique Bivens having her number 24 jersey retired at Thompson High School in Alabaster earlier this month in a special ceremony between the boys and girls games up at Alabaster. Now we are ready for David Holtzford's highlights. We take you now all around the state of Alabama for highlights of some of the big action in both basketball and wrestling from the past week. And we start out with an East Alabama Class 7A girls battle between Auburn playing at Central of Phoenix City. Olivia Porter runs the floor for an easy layup to give Auburn an early lead. Then Porter going to come back with a steal early in the second half. Dishes to Saraya Daniels to complete the fast break, tying the game at 20. Later in the quarter, Nevaeh Small scoops up a loose ball and finds Daniels open again for another fast break bucket. And with the game tied at 32 all, Daniels makes the pass to Porter, who cans a three-pointer for a 35-32 lead. With Opelika hot on their heels, Porter passes to Small for a basket, and the Lady Tigers nip the Lady Bulldogs by a score of 45-44 in that girls' game played at Central of Phoenix City last week. Now we go to down south, Baldwin County. 7A rivals Fairhope and Daphne tangling at Daphne. The unbeaten and top-ranked Pirates jump out quickly as Jaron Kyles downs a tray in the first quarter. A little later, it's Kyles in the corner for another three. And later, it's the Pirates' press defense and Duke football signee Riley Leonard getting the steal and assist to Kyles for yet another basket. In the second half, Hunter Ivy gets a steal, turns into a towering dunk as the bench goes wild. And finally, you got Riley Leonard. Double team. You're going to see that coming up right here. The dishes a pass to John Edward Witherington, and he saves the ball from going out of bounds. And then he's going to get the ball to 5'8" guard Luke Wilkinson, who completes it to a series of events with a lob back to Leonard, who jams it home for another dunk and a 69-40 Fairhope win. From Mobile in Class 7A, we move to Northeast Alabama to showcase Class 2A North Sand Mountain, the nation's highest scoring boys basketball team, according to Max Preps. The Thundering Herd, averaging 91.9 points a game, takes control at Class 4A North Jackson as senior Russ Marr, averaging 28.5 points per game, knocks down a tray for an early Thundering Herd lead for Coach Cole Hicks' squad. Derek Bearden follows with an offensive rebound and putback, and then he's going to draw a foul to complete an old-fashioned three-point play. Marr's at it again. He pulls up to nail another basket. Then we've got point guard Luke Maples following with a deep three-pointer as North Sand Mountain cruises to a 99-41 win over the Chiefs. We'll travel to Central Alabama now. Pick up the action. Top-ranked Class 3A Montgomery Academy and third-ranked Prattville Christian. The Eagles, Virginia. Meacham sets the pick and rolls back to the three-point line. Nails the tray to give MA an early lead. Second quarter, Chloe Johnson steals the ball, gets the layup at the other end for another bucket. Montgomery Academy trailing the Panthers. Leighton Robertson gets a basket as the Eagles start their comeback. Gabby Ramirez follows with a tray to give Montgomery Academy a late lead. The game came down to a dramatic finish when Robertson snared a defensive rebound with 3.5 seconds left. And then she is going to nail a three-pointer at the buzzer to send the game into overtime. And in the extra period, Madison Cadell sinks two free throws, and Madison Academy hangs on for a 60-59 win over Prattville Christian. Great game down in Central Alabama last week between Montgomery Academy and Prattville Christian. You see the two free throws right there in the 60-59 win for Madison Academy. Now we're going to take you to another nail-biter. Suburban rivals Vestavia Hills and Spain Park met at Vestavia last weekend. Both teams battling to the finish. Wynn Miller, 27 points, hit a tray for the Rebels. Later goes inside for another buck in the foul. And then in the second half, Miller is shown again cutting toward the basket, taking a dead-on pass from Jude Cleary for another bucket, foul, and free throw. Later in the half, Cole Turner going to deliver another old-fashioned three with a layup and free throw for Vestavia Hills. Reese Garner scores on a tray, and Cleary nails a shot at the buzzer to end the third to take a 41-38 lead into the final 8 minutes. Turner makes a steal, gets the ball back for another bucket late as the Rebels win at home, 64-63 over the Jaguars. What a week of one-point games we had in the state of Alabama this week, including this Vestavia 64-63 win over Spain Park at Vestavia Hills. Now to the AHSAA Wrestling Duels Tournament Championships at the Birmingham Crossplex Bill Harris Arena Friday, January 22nd. Pick up the action. The Class 7A Finals, Wilson Kennedy of defending state champion Thompson Warriors picks up the hard-fought match win with a pin over Vestavia Hills' Clay Johnston in the 138-pound weight class at 351. The Warriors of Coach Sean Weltson went on to post a hard-fought 33-25 victory over the Rebels to claim their third straight 7A Duels crown. Vestavia Hills won the 7A First Duels title in 2017 and has finished second twice. Next, we get in on the Class 5A and 6A Duels finals and the powerful defending state champion Gardendale Rockets of Coach Brian Brazil in the 152-pound weight bout, where Gardendale's Keenan Wyatt gains control early to pin Wetumpka's Christian Preston at 137 in the first period. Carson Kim follows at 160 pounds with a quick pin over Wetumpka's Caleb Robinson just 39 seconds into the match. And then a little bit later on, we're going to see Derek Orvik. He's going to take down the Indians' 170-pounder Americus Barty with a pin at 139, and Gardendale captures its second straight Duels title 38-19. We close with a match for the ages in Class 1A through 4A. Cleburne County took a quick lead by winning the first match of the finals with Asheville with a pin by Ian McGowan over Tyler Edber at 135 in the 126-pound match. Asheville came into the 1A, 4A finals riding a 24-match winning streak since opening the season with its only previous loss to Class 7A Hewitt-Trussville. The Bulldogs of Coach Jim Browning took control quickly, building a 34-12 lead with 5 straight wins, 4 by pins. 220-pounder Russell Clanton pinned Jacob Ebner at 152 in the 220-pound match in Cleburne County. Coached by Jake Mayfield, clawed back, winning the final 6 bouts to take a 43-34 victory and the duels title. The real igniter came at 106 pounds, where Austin Mayfield won his match with a pin just 20 seconds in over Wetumpka's Owen Meads. Tigers' 113-pounder Shamar Hurd followed that up with a pin at 107 over Jaden Harris. You'll see that. And the comeback effort was completed. In just a moment, you're going to see Anthony Champion winning a tough battle over Nick Williamson with a pin at 5:36 to close out an exciting day of wrestling at the Bill Harris Arena at the Birmingham Sportsplex in Birmingham. What a tremendous, exciting finish there for Cleburne County High School in the state wrestling duels. Well, to close out this week, we're going to take you to a pretty incredible scene here. This is a scary moment at Birmingham's Carver High School. Pick up the action with Ramsey leading 61-44 with 4:42 left in the game. Senior Mississippi State commit Keyshawn Murphy brings the whole goal down with this slam dunk as players scramble for cover. Thankful everyone was safe, including the dunker. The game has been tentatively scheduled to be finished following the rematch at Ramsey on Thursday. What a week of highlights, and none any more incredible than that highlight right there. We want to thank David Holtzford and all the folks at the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the NFHS Network for providing these highlights from around the state of Alabama each week. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. We'll see you back here next week.